First question is from Daiwa Securities, Mr. Ando. Mr. Ando, please take the floor. Thank you very much. I would like to ask a question. We believe this is a very diverse packaged plan toward transformation. Now, for those of us who are outside your organization, as an outsider, whether or not this type of initiative is successful, how can we measure that from the outside? Are there any milestones that you have in mind that you're able to share with us? We'd appreciate if you could share with us your milestone. At the end of the day, correction, we're hoping that the profits will increase as a result of your initiatives. But at what time do you believe will there be greater visibility? At what time rather will there be a greater visibility? So if you could just share with us some sense that you have about the timeline, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Ando, for your question. So there's the cost reduction side, and also there's the side whereby revenues and profits will increase. So I believe this initiative will spread to many different aspects and fronts. So therefore, we would like to provide information from many different diverse perspectives going forward. Now, we were talking about 800 billion cost reduction in 2023, but 840 billion was done 2 years ahead in 2021. And we'll be able to realize 1 trillion cost reduction. So we're adding on to our cost reduction targets as we go along. And a very sizable portion of that will be covered by standardization over business operation as well as DX and remote work. So through this, we'll be able to contribute to such cost reduction. So that is the bottom line. So I think that's why you should be able to measure our success. Now, as far as the items are concerned, 2 days ago, Mr. Sawada made an announcement. The process automation, he talked about 100 business process automation. This was already announced. But today, we talked about the value chain in our presentation. And on this page, within this context, as we pursue automation, 100 out of 230 processes will be automated. And we're receiving such orders. And also automatic charging can be done. So we'll be able to make such transformations. So first of all, we want to improve customer experience for our own customer base. I think that's the first thing. And this mechanism itself, hopefully, will be able to open to our customers. They will be open to our customers, actually. So within this context of ecosystem, we hope that we'll be able to extend the ecosystem by increasing the usage on the part of the customers. And hopefully the usage of customers could translate into profit. So hopefully we'll be able to generate 140 billion yen of revenues on this front. This was already announced as well. So one by one, hopefully we'll be able to visualize this and respond to your question. We look forward to your kind interest. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Ando, thank you very much for your question. We would like to move on to the next person. The next person will be from Credit Suisse, Mr. Eguchi. This is Eguchi from Credit Suisse Securities. I have 2 questions. The first is, this time you talk about flexible working environment being provided, more free choices to the employees, and business growth will be achieved whilst changing the working environment. This is the needs, I understand. And for the employees' incentive system, how are you going to change? If you emphasize business growth in the short term, whether maintaining the conventional way of working could be one possibility, but you should change the employee incentive in itself. Otherwise, you cannot achieve the kind of environment you are opting to go for. What are your thoughts? Thank you very much for your question. To what extent the management side will truly be determined to provide a creative working environment? How do we develop a creative working environment? This is going to be very important. I think there are 2. Actually, one, for female managers not enough in number, and those people who are raising children or taking care of family members give up career. These are big losses for the business. But this time, life will not have to be sacrificed to work. Therefore, top speed full-time work can continue. This will be very beneficial for the company. For example, this time, regardless of the time hours, people can work. We have introduced such a system. With this, there are overwhelmingly more number of women coming back to work on full-time working basis. This will be more and more the case. And secondly, my specific example was NTT East. We have Mr. Shintani working in telework very actively. Nobori-san, he is working on IP and Tsukuba, and then he is working, and he wants to work for NTT for 3 days. AI, IoT, and cloud specialists like this also exist. To attract these people, we need a very bold, creative system and be flexible. So for leading edge people to be able to work freely, we want to provide these benefits. Thank you very much. And my second question is, this time you are talking about these initiatives, and when they are being realized, the KPI in the society is employee engagement and turn rate of the employees. And engagement number, I'm not sure whether you disclose or not, but Mr. Shibutani and the management members, the incentive of the management, employee engagements are engagement of the employees linked to the senior management's incentives and linked to KPIs. Otherwise, people may find it difficult to change work styles in truth. Thank you very much for a question that really hits to the core. In conclusion, we want to include in the KPI because today, over the past 2 years so far, we have been working remote work. And there are some managers who are reluctant to have remote work because this is forced. And there are also managers who are very proactively using the remote work system. And I think after the COVID and COVID being over, I think there is also a strong incentive to go back to the earlier ways. So as a company, we need to communicate a clear message and give the incentive to move forward. And how much are the new systems being used? We need to incorporate into the KPI as an appraisal yardstick of the managers. We are having discussions, and this will happen next year onwards, but this is an important theme and most probably will be incorporated in the KPI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eguchi. As it is time, we'd like to conclude the session at this juncture. So we'd like to conclude the session on transformation to a new management style. Thank you, Mr. Shibutani, for joining us today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.